So there's this thing that happens inside of philosophy when you're debating with someone that doesn't have any real value in falsifiability. If they want to hold things true that aren't falsifiable, what they wind up doing is they lean on items like a priori knowledge, concepts from Descartes about numbers, and they'll say, well, numbers are not falsifiable concepts. Pure mathematics is not falsifiable concepts. And while this is true, they are reflective. Numbers are reflective symbols of physical objectivity, in the same way that words are not falsifiable. Words represent objects that are falsifiable. So you could say 5 apples, and apples are falsifiable as a physical object, whether they exist or they don't exist. And so is 5, that you could validate whether there are 5. But as far as the word that is apple, it's simply a symbol. It's a tool that we use for communication. And in the same way, numbers are also tools. As far as the mathematics go, there is consistency across them. So you can use something that you have consistent models. It's predictive. So you can say 5 plus 5 equals 10. In a purely mathematical sense, is that non-falsifiable? It is non-falsifiable claim. However, in physical application, 10 items or 5 items plus 5 items is falsifiable, that it equals 10. We can test it and come to that conclusion. So there's a slight, it's just a play on words to some degree. But mathematics in pure mathematical form, just the formula, is not it is not falsifiable, but the outcomes are. You can do the same thing with negative concepts. So you can say 5 minus 8. And then you'll get this -3. Is there such thing as -3? Well, no, it doesn't correspond to a physical object. But you get the same thing inside of negative vocabulary. So you can say, I have no water, which is it's a negative or an abstract. So you have the same thing. Is this a non-falsifiable? Well, yeah, it is falsifiable if you don't have any water. But these inside of numbers, they're concepts that relate to debt or to directional. If you have a baseline of direction, it's in the opposite direction, in the negative. So they either correspond to directional movement on a chart, or they correspond to concepts that are about debt. But that's all this is.